Welcome back to the CNT Podcast. I'm Justin Yomok.
And I'm Tommy Terrio.
And now let's look at card of the week, which Tommy has his a new card.
So today, actually, I got this Davy Garcia first Bowman Chrome. It's an auto.
I think you
come.
gotta turn off your
Let me give you a better shot of it. So here you go. There we go. That's better. That's much better. Perfect. So Davy Garcia recently actually joined my PC, and I've been super happy with him. There's a lot of good quality cards that I found of his that I've been super happy to get. Some I've actually gotten from Justin, so it's always fun. But yeah, super happy with this card. Surprisingly, unlike pretty much anybody else, not a big fan of Chrome personally, but I still think the auto looks great and super happy with it.
Mm-hmm. I like Chrome. Just opened the day we were recording this, opened a Topps Chrome Blaster that the post on Instagram, the review will go out before this episode goes out. So if you follow CNT Instagram, you'll have already seen it. Really fun with. I'm really enjoying it. Also, that David Garcia I meant to say it's a very nice card. Very clean. I really liked it.
Yeah, so Bowman did a good job with it.
Yeah. I like Bowman Chrome a lot. I like Chromes a lot. Chromes are some of my favorite in the card world. I like the look of them a lot. So now let's get into the episode, which is the wild card breakdown. Because the race in the AL is getting heated, the NL is starting to get heat. It's coming down to a fun finish.
We're in September baseball, my friend.
Best time besides playoff baseball.
Unless you're a Mariners fan or a Pirates fan, you don't enjoy this time of year.
No. So in the NL division leaders are the Giants, Brewers, and Braves. And clinched is the Giants and Dodgers. So Dodgers are wild card 1 as of right now. We're probably not going to talk about them much because they're already clinched. Probably just when we give our final predictions of the standings. But Dodgers are practically they're in the playoffs already, so we're going to tend away from them.
Yeah, so it's just a contest of who's there, of which one's winning that division. That's it.
So why don't you break down your ideas of what the race is, then I'll tell you mine.
Okay, so I think for me personally, the race, it comes down to 3 teams at this point. It comes down to the Padres, who have been here since the beginning. It comes down to the Cardinals, who have shot up recently, and the Reds, who actually had a decent lead for a little bit there. So I think the Padres were what were supposed to happen this entire time. Coming into the All-Star break, it was the Giants, Dodgers, and then Padres. Boom, done. Open and shut. Everything's good. Normal, right? Wrong. They fell off after the All-Star break. And, both teams from the NL Central, they shot up and said, this is our chance. And here they are.
Even the Cubs won like 7 of 9 games at one point.
But yeah, your thoughts?
I think that you're painting a picture of what realistically could happen, but I think the wild card down race is down to 4 teams with 1 spot open, with the Cardinals in the lead, Padres only 1 game back, Reds only 1.5 games back, and the Phillies, who are 3 games back, which actually might be less because they just beat the Cubs in the series. The Phillies are on a rampage. You got to give them that respect. They are on a rampage. They are trying to make it, and I think that they are having a great year. So I think they all are fighting for a spot. My final predictions: wildcard 1, Dodgers. I think Giants will clinch that division. Wildcard 2, no, I won't tell you wildcard 2. Number 3 in the wildcard rankings, missing playoffs: Padres, Cardinals, and Reds. And I think the Phillies will take that wildcard 2 spot behind Bryce Harper, who will win MVP by single-handedly by getting to the Phillies into the playoffs, being out the runner-up in MVP, Tatis.
Wow. That's something else.
That is my prediction.
Okay, let me give mine really quick. I think obviously it's Dodgers. They're playoff bound. I think though, I think that at the end of the day, right before his farewell tour, Yadier Molina's running it back into the dance, seeing how far he can get. Now, here's my thought. With the Phillies specifically, I'll start with that. The Phillies, they just got swept by the Rockies, I do believe. It was either they got swept or they lost the series. That's not encouraging against a team that's terrible on the road. I
Yeah, but then
mean,
they went back home and they swept. No, the Cubs took one of the games. They won the division against the Cubs, and I think they're right back in it after that.
I think it'll be interesting coming down, but yeah, I think it's Dodgers, and then I think the Cardinals make it. I think by some margin of victory, whatever you want to call it, some miracle, the Cardinals make it in.
No, the Cardinals are not better than the Cubs. Like if we kept Bryant Rizzo Baez, the Cubs would have finished better than the Cardinals. I believe that. So, especially if we had Frank the Tank.
Stuck in the past, my friend. Stuck in the past.
And I refuse to believe that the Cardinals are a playoff team. Their pitching just isn't there. I think they'll make it next year in Yachty's true last dance.
I mean,
I just don't
Adam
think that
Wainwright
team.
looks like 2013 John Lester and J.A. Happ. I mean, come on.
They have the oldest rotation. I don't think that's going to help them. As much as I love John Lester, they are just not that team this year. The
I don't know. I
Phillies are.
think
I'm high on the Phillies. Bryce Harper will only win MVP if he makes playoffs over Tatis.
but
Now
if
moving
but
on to
if
the
but if
AL.
Tatis makes it, he's MVP. You think?
No, if the Phillies don't make it, Tatis is MVP. If the Phillies make it, Harper's MVP. That's how I see it.
That was my question. I apologize.
Yeah. Now we're gonna spend a lot more time in the AL because that race is way closer and it's gonna be fun to watch. Um, so the division leaders, White Sox, Astros, Rays, I think they're all gonna win the division. I think that's pretty clear. But wild card one is the Yankees, wild card two is the Blue Jays, number three is the Red Sox, who are 0 games back. They're tied, but they lose the tiebreaker. And then number four, A's 3.5 and 5 score. What sucks for us is we live in the Seattle area. The Mariners lost the series that they needed to sweep against the Red Sox at home. And it's very unlikely they're going to make it now because of that. Now being 4 games back, opposed to have been only 2 games back, and the Red Sox being lower as well.
By the way, update as of recording, the Red Sox have now taken the second spot. Like that's how close it is. Is like I'm looking at
Oh,
this now.
wow.
I don't know when Justin's taking notes, but as this is going on, the Red Sox have taken a half game up on the Yankees.
So wait, it's wild card one Blue Jays, wild card two Red Sox.
Yeah, that's
I did
just
like
like I just looked at that.
Yeah, I did. I made these notes like right before the Red Sox game started. It was like during the game, so I knew that the chance there might have changed.
But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's very close. So give your predictions and not predictions, your breakdown of it.
Okay, Toronto's the hottest team in baseball. I mean, heck, the Giants I think are on a 10-game win streak, or at least they. I mean, that might have just ended. I'm not entirely sure about that, but they're easily the hottest team in baseball. They're hitting the cover off the ball. Vladdy Jr. is saying, "Hey, that Shohei guy is that he's pretty good. He's pretty good, but I can mash balls like no other person in Canada can." So it's something interesting to see. Red Sox, I mean, they're a confusing team. I mean, I don't know what to expect out of them. Chris Sale comes back, plays 3 games, I think, and then gets COVID. I mean, bam, bam. Like, who knows what state he comes back in? Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, they're such an odd team.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees, July, August, they said, "Hey, we're just gonna win about 15 straight. Don't mind us." That was an amazing run. And to their credit, they've actually sustained it to some extent. Like they're still hanging around despite what had to be a fall off. Like with how good they were, they couldn't continue to be that good. But
Baltimore came
then,
up and said, "Hey, we're going to take a few games from you."
yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone expected that.
How says it.
Then Oakland, actually. Oakland, I mean, come on. Props to them for coming back and taking that spot back, that second in the AL West spot from Seattle. But again, this is another team that a lot of these teams shouldn't be as good as they are. You got Mark Canha, you got Matt Chapman, you got Matt Olson, but I mean, and that pitching too. I mean, their pitching's
We
actually been
had
doing
Raymond
really well.
Laureano.
Yeah,
If they still had
I think
Ramon, this would be a totally different race.
I can agree. I think the team though that really is shouldn't be here is Seattle. As much I'm a Seattle fan. I love them, but they shouldn't be here. Minus what 60 something run differential. I don't care how many what kind of sport you're playing, anything else. If you're losing the majority of your game, if you're losing your games, if your run differentials minus 65, come on.
Let's see. This is where I disagree with you. I'm a Seattle fan behind Cubs too. I've been rooting so hard for them to make it. Sadly, it doesn't look good for them. They either get blown out or they're in close games. And one thing about the Mariners, in close games, they win. And that's why they're here. They get blown out in most of their losses, yeah, since the run differential. But when the things get close, they win. And I saw this at one and during one of the games. In extra innings, they're like 18-3, which just goes to show they win the close games, and that's how they're there. You see, you have a negative 565 run differential. That's you shouldn't be a playoff team. I see that as you're a good team who gets behind but still battles back to become a good playoff contender. And I think they have a very good team. And if Kyle Lewis was not hot, that they would have swept the Red Sox and been closer in this race. And it came down to an injury on one of the best players that took them out of the race. And maybe trading Kendall Graveman,
Yeah,
which
I mean
makes no
that was
sense.
a big loss, but I mean Abraham Toro's been raking it. I mean,
That's true. I mean, then again, if we don't trade Graveman, we don't get Toro, who has easily helped us skyrocket to having even a chance.
for sure.
I also think another thing that hurts Jared Kelnick has not played up to par in his rookie year. I don't know
Yeah,
if it
I
will go
think
down in his rookie year if he played enough. He's hot. He's heated up, but he's batting for a low average, which is not great to see. I expect a bigger leap next year, but it's a little concerning to see this.
his ceiling was too
However,
high. His ceiling was way too high. I think
yeah, I do
everybody
think
needs
he'll
to
come back.
calm down. No need to sound any alarms. Heck, Wander Franco started what his first his he was like hitting 167 through the first 3 weeks, but then he heated
Mhm,
up and not everybody's gonna be Wander Franco with that massive come up.
mhm. I think Kelnick will be good. I'm not dissing him at all. That is not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just saying when he got called up, he did not meet his expectations, given they were high. But he didn't come close. He's batting under 200, maybe under 150.
Yeah,
But at some point, you gotta realize he's he needs to play a little better. However, he's a really nice guy. I got an autograph of him. Will probably be card of the week soon. I went to one of the Red Sox games, the one that they won. It was a great game, but it's not. It like leads me in to talk about the Red Sox now. You say they're a weird team, they are, but when they get going, they get going. They're a good team. They have a lot of power. They have Schwarber now starting to play a little more. Bobby Dalbot's having a great year. I think that they are a good team and they could easily make this playoffs. A's, I'm kind of counting them out like the Mariners. I think the Mariners honestly have a more all around team that wants it more than the A's, if I'm being honest. I'm counting the Mariners and A's out at this point, which sucks. I really want to see the Mariners end the drought. So then it's on the Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox. Like you said about the Blue Jays, Toronto is got hot at the right time. They weren't even the top five at the start of a month and a half ago, and now they're number one in wild card. Correct?
Yeah,
It's
they're the number one team. Correct.
Yeah. I don't see them pulling down anytime soon. And they have Cavan, who just hit a grand slam in AAA rehabbing. He'll be back before playoffs. That's only going to help them more. I mean, over the past weekend, 2 weeks ago. So this comes out Monday. A week ago, the weekend before last episode, they scored more points than like 14 NFL teams did.
That's
They're
funny to think
very
about.
hot. They're I see them as 100% locked for playoffs. Yankees, they got hot a little early, which was the right time, but they're cooling down at the wrong time. And so my prediction is wild card one, Blue Jays. Wild card two, Red Sox. Number four, Mariners. Number five, A's. What are
Okay.
your predictions?
So number one, I mean, I said they were a weird team, but I'm giving it to the Sox. That power you talked about is insane. But I'll tell you why I'm not picking the Blue Jays as number one. 3 words: fall from grace. Things are going to happen. You can't stay perfect forever. And I think that's going to hit them upside the head. Even, I mean, heck, they might make it number one and say, "Hey, we're going to prove you guys wrong." But they're going to get slapped upside the head by somebody. This isn't it. This isn't it for the Blue Jays. No matter when they lose, this isn't going to be the end of obviously the end of their potential. They're still a young team, but this isn't it. I think they're number two. I have the Red Sox at one, them two, Yankees three, Mariners four, Oakland five. I'm very similar to you.
Mhm. Can we just take a moment to be honest? Are we putting Mariners four ahead of A's out of bias or because we genuinely think they'll be better at the end of the year?
I think it's half and half. I think that the Mariners have a higher chance of doing better. They have 2 series coming up against the A's. I think
And
even
whoever
just
wins
this next
those
one.
two series, I think.
Say that again.
I think whoever wins the most games of those two series, I think one's a 4 game, one's a 3 game. I think whoever wins like at least 4 of those games, that's who's gonna finish ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll just
And I
assert their
think
dominance over everybody
honestly,
else.
I think it's a blind optimism for me that the Mariners will finish ahead of the A's.
Yeah, I think it's hard. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's hard. I'm gonna stick with my prediction, but it's hard. You bring up a valid
Mhm.
point.
It sucks. I really thought they were gonna do it when they won the first game against the Sox.
You were like, "Hey,
They
this
also
is our
lost
year.
two to the
This is our
Padres,
year."
and in fact, it's not all year.
My friends, welcome to the worst time to be a Mariners fan.
Next year, I know I say this all the time, but they have such a bright future. They have such a bright future. The Blue Jays, Mariners, and I'm gonna say Rays. No, I'm gonna say White Sox. All have the three brightest futures.
I could stand by that.
Might be a little blind optimism coming on me now, but I think the Cubs are definitely top seven. They got a lot of good prospects for their big players. It's sad to see him go. We completely fleeced the White Sox. Trimble has given up more runs for the Sox than he did for the Cubs. We got Cody Huro, who's been really good so far, and Nick Madrigal, who just doesn't strike out. He hits for a high average, doesn't have a lot of power, but he rarely strikes out, which is going to be nice change from
I
Pies.
think that'll be I think that'll need to be a new an episode at some point. I think we're getting a little off track here.
Yeah, sorry. It's hard not to talk about the Cubs at all in an episode when they're my favorite team.
You you got your daily quota. You got your two. Let's calm down.
Yeah. That's definitely gonna be an episode scene. Brightest features.
For sure.
Gonna put it on my list so we make sure to do it. Look out for that episode in the next month or two.
Definitely.
That's it for this episode. Thank you all for watching.
Make sure to check us out on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, yes, we have a new schedule where we post every day, including Sundays. Something new goes out every day, so make sure you follow all the socials.
Yep, and also make sure on the Instagram we have this a little bit early 100 subscriber giveaway. So make sure to check that out.
You've heard about it in the last episode. It is live now. I believe there's about 5 entries, so make sure you enter. We might have a way to get you a second entry if you want it, but as for now, all you gotta do is like the post and make sure you're following the Instagram. Make sure to try and help get us to 100 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. So make sure you enter that to win some cool Blake Taylor cards who was on the podcast.
Yep.
That's all for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.